Classroom is here for you. It helps you in all you do. Helps you know you do. So tune in and now enjoy the fun. It's time for English, everyone. Studio Classroom is on the air. You can watch it everywhere. English is the way to go. So join us now, enjoy the show.
Hey friends, welcome back to Studio Classroom. I'm John.
I'm Anne-Marie, and today is a great day to learn something new.
It is. So let's do that together. Anne-Marie, I've been reading. You know there are different types of pollution, right?
Oh yeah, there's air pollution and ocean pollution. We've been talking about microplastics a lot the last few years too.
Yeah. Did you know there is a new pollution to worry about?
What's that?
Well, it's mercury pollution. It's been around for a while, but mercury is a special kind of metal we'll learn more about, and it's really potentially dangerous.
Isn't mercury super toxic? This sounds like a really big problem.
That's right. We'll learn more about this pollution, but Anne-Marie, is pollution something you worry about?
It is. Pollution is something that I worry about on a pretty consistent basis because I wonder what kind of world is going to be left for my kids. And that is part of what the Minamata Convention on Mercury is all about, friends. We're going to learn exactly what that is. Let's get into it right now.
The Minamata Convention on Mercury. Cleaning up mercury pollution requires a global effort. Mercury, an elemental metal that exists in liquid form at room temperature, occurs naturally in the environment. Metallic mercury occurs primarily in the Earth's crust, but can be released into the atmosphere by human activities, such as burning trash or coal and gold mining. Organic mercury is mainly produced when tiny organisms consume inorganic mercury and convert it into an organic compound, such as methylmercury, a toxic chemical that is commonly found in mercury-polluted water.
Hello everyone, welcome to Language Lab. I'm Jack. 首先我们来看 organism 这个名词，它的意思是生物体或是有机体。譬如 The snail, a slow-moving organism, moved through the garden in search of food. 蝸牛是一种行动缓慢的生物，它在花园中寻找食物。或是 Every organism, from the huge elephant to the tiny ant, plays a unique role in the balance of nature. 大到大象，小到蚂蚁，每一种生物都在大自然的平衡中发挥着独特的作用。或者是 Many scientists are searching for signs of life on distant planets, hoping to find even a single-celled organism. 许多科学家正在遥远的行星上寻找生命迹象，希望找到哪怕是单细胞生物。
Okay, what's the solution for pollution? Well, cleaning up, right? So we read that right at the beginning here. Cleaning up mercury pollution requires a global effort.
That's right. If you clean something up, it means that you are making it better than it was before, making it cleaner. For example, you could spend your Saturday afternoon cleaning up your yard or cleaning up your room. You're taking it from a state of being dirty and unusable to a state of being clean.
That's right. What are we cleaning up? Well, mercury. Mercury, we read, is an elemental metal that exists in liquid form at room temperature, occurs naturally in the environment. Okay, so elemental means something that occurs in a natural state. You could say oxygen is an element, it's elemental. But there's also that word exists that you need to know in English. Exists means to be or to occur or to be found.
That's right. We also see this phrase room temperature here, friends. If something is at room temperature, it means that it's not too hot and not too cold. It means that the temperature of that thing is the same temperature as the air in the room that it is in. A lot of people here where we live like to drink room temperature water. I prefer to drink ice water when I can.
I see. Yeah, ice water is a very American thing. I like ice water too, but room temperature water is very relaxing.
That's true.
Yeah, but mercury is a liquid at room temperature. It's a metal, which is a little strange that it's a liquid. And we read metallic mercury. Metallic means resembling or looking like a metal. Metallic mercury occurs primarily in the Earth's crust, but can be released into the atmosphere by human activities such as burning trash or coal and gold mining. By the way, the crust is the upper hard layer of the Earth's surface. Things like bread or toast also have a crust, like a hard outer layer. Okay, so what are some of these human activities that can release mercury?
Well, burning trash or burning coal and also gold mining. So when these activities are done by humans, then mercury gets released. Organic mercury is mainly produced when tiny organisms consume inorganic mercury and convert it into an organic compound. Let's stop there for just a minute because we already learned about this word organic, right? You know what that means, but we see here a little bit different form of this word, inorganic. And what this means is that it is something that is not consisting of or that comes from living matter. So something that is organic is coming from living matter. If it's inorganic, it's not consisting of living matter. Here, this word is used to describe mercury.
That's right. And there's a compound, which is a chemical structure that we read about, an organic compound such as methylmercury. So that's a very scientific term, methylmercury. And it is a toxic chemical that is commonly found in mercury-polluted water. Toxic means it's poisonous. Don't drink anything that is toxic.
This sounds like a really serious problem. Let's continue learning about it in our next reading.
The Minamata Convention on Mercury. Although the impact of mercury on the environment has been underestimated by some industries and individuals, it is a top 10 chemical of major health concern according to the WHO. Despite this, the severity of mercury's toxicity remains to be fully understood. Prolonged exposure to mercury can pose significant risks to human health, including brain damage and reproductive issues. Mercury also significantly damages the life cycles of water-dwelling creatures.
接下来看动词 underestimate， 意思是低估。例如 The hikers underestimated the difficulty of the trail and ended up exhausted before they reached their destination. 登山者们低估了山路的难度，结果在到达目的地之前就已经精疲力尽了。或者是 The teacher underestimated the student's artistic talent, so was pleasantly surprised by his creativity and skill in his final project. 这位老师低估了该学生的艺术天分，所以对他在期末报告中的创意和技巧感到惊喜。或者是 Never underestimate the power of a kind word or small act of generosity. 永远不要低估一句好话或一个小小的慷慨举动的力量。再来看名词 toxicity， 意思是毒性。譬如 The polluted lake suffered from high levels of toxicity, making the water unsafe for swimming or drinking. 这个被污染的湖泊受到剧毒的影响，无法饮用或在里面游泳。或是 The workplace was full of toxicity with gossip and bullying, creating a stressful atmosphere. 这个工作场所充满了有害的八卦和霸凌，营造了一个紧张的氛围。Toxicity 的形容词是 toxic， 意思是有毒的或是使人不愉快的。譬如 Lydia decided to cut out toxic people from her life and surround herself with positive and supportive individuals. Lydia 决定跟使人不愉快的人断绝，只跟有正面性和能彼此支持的人交往。
Okay, why is mercury so damaging to the environment? Well, let's read together and find out. Although the impact of mercury on the environment has been underestimated by some industries and individuals, it is a top 10 chemical of major health concern, according to the WHO, the World Health Organization. An industry is a word you need to know. It means a branch of economic activity, often with factories.
Okay, so we also see something else really interesting in this sentence. This idea of a top 10 chemical of major health concern list. Now, this is an official list put out by the World Health Organization. And this is the idea that there are these 10 chemicals in our environment that are a major health concern. They can really impact people's quality of life. They're really toxic to people. So it means that this is something that really needs a lot of attention so that we can solve this problem.
That's right. So let's read exactly why mercury is so dangerous to humans. We read that prolonged exposure to mercury. Prolonged, by the way, means over some time, right?
Yeah, so for example, if you have prolonged stress, it can lead to major health issues. You don't want to have stress in your life for a long period of time.
I see. So prolonged or long-term exposure to mercury can pose significant risks to human health. And some of these risks or these dangers are what?
Well, this can include brain damage and reproductive issues. You see reproductive there is one of your word bank words. Reproductive is the process of producing offspring or having babies. So this is a huge major concern for humans. We read here mercury also significantly damages the life cycles of water-dwelling creatures. Now, a life cycle is the series of stages through which something passes through in its lifetime. So your life cycle could be different depending on what kind of creature you are.
Yeah, you could say the life cycle of a butterfly is egg, caterpillar, chrysalis, then butterfly. And so that would be the life cycle. In the water, oftentimes fish lay eggs and those eggs hatch, but mercury can really damage the babies of all kinds of creatures, including humans. And it's a big issue. We also have a lot more to talk about the dangers and the solutions for mercury. This is an important issue. But for now, let's go to our info cloud.
Hello everyone, welcome to InfoCloud. Garrett, have I ever told you about the saying, canary in a coal mine?
No, Rex. I know that canaries are a kind of bird, but what do they have to do with mines?
Canary in a coal mine is a phrase that comes from a practice used by coal miners. They would bring canaries into the mines because canaries are very sensitive to toxic gases like carbon monoxide.
Ooh, which is dangerous. Even to the canaries, right?
Yes, especially to canaries. If the canary showed signs of distress or died, it was a warning to the miners that the environment was dangerous.
Okay, so the canaries were like a sensor from the animal kingdom. So how do we use this phrase today?
Today, a canary in a coal mine refers to an early warning of danger. It's used to describe someone or something that indicates a problem before it becomes serious.
Could you give us an example?
Sure. Imagine a company noticing that a small group of customers is unhappy with a new product feature. These customers are like canaries in a coal mine, signaling that there might be a bigger issue that needs to be addressed before it affects more people.
So, it's about recognizing early signs of trouble and taking action before things get worse. Thankfully, we usually don't need to hurt any canaries today.
很多时候我们会看到一些警讯，让我们隐约知道可能会有危险或是一些问题产生。我们可以说这种警讯是 a canary in a coal mine， 字面上是煤矿里的金丝雀。为什么会有这么有趣的用语呢？原来在 coal mine 煤矿里，有时候会有 canary 金丝雀飞进来，而金丝雀对于一氧化碳等等的毒气非常敏感，只要有一点点，它们就会开始叫，让工人们可以避免危险或灾难。The low birth rate is a canary in a coal mine。低生育率是一个不好的预兆。这就是今天的 Info Cloud， 我们下次云端见。
The Minamata Convention on Mercury. To protect human health and the environment, the international community has taken steps to limit the use and release of mercury. Adopted in 2013, the Minamata Convention on Mercury came into effect on August 16, 2017, signaling a global commitment to combat mercury pollution. In addition, some countries have implemented their own laws and regulations, such as the United States Mercury and Air Toxic Standards, and the European Union's Regulation EU 2017-852.
implement 这个动词意思是实施，譬如 The school implemented a new discipline policy, hoping to create a more focused and productive learning environment. 该学校实施了一个新的风纪政策，希望能创造一个更专注、更有成效的学习环境。或是 After learning their production process was too slow, the factory manager implemented a plan to get the necessary machines to make it more efficient. 在得知生产流程过于缓慢后，工厂经理实施了一项计划，购置必要的机器来提供生产效率。Implement 如果当名词，则是指工具，譬如 The new factory building lacked the necessary implements for production, which delayed the launch of the new products. 新的厂房缺乏生产所需的工具，导致新产品迟迟不能上市。
Okay, so time to talk about the solution for pollution. The solution is to protect human health and the environment. The international community, that means different countries, right, has taken steps to limit the use and release of mercury. The release of something means letting it go, in this case, letting it out from factories, burning, and into the environment.
Yeah, we learned about that earlier, how human activities on the Earth's crust can release mercury, such as gold mining or burning trash and other things like that. So I have a feeling that what we're going to read next is going to put some limits on what people can do so that not as much mercury is released. How does our lesson continue here, John?
Well, we get some history first. Adopted in 2013, the Minamata Convention on Mercury came into effect on August 16th, 2017. So it took some time for something to come into effect. Coming into effect means to start or to begin, right?
That's right. The definition of this phrase is to officially begin or be valid from that time. So essentially, to come into effect means the time that something is started. It's not necessarily when something was created, but it's the time when something is put into effect, the time it starts.
That's right. It can take countries a long time to cooperate, And this, coming into effect, signals or shows something. It was signaling a global commitment to combat mercury pollution. To combat mercury pollution. There's that word combat as a verb. If you get it as a noun, it's combat. But to combat mercury pollution means to fight against. What does it mean to signal, though?
Well, if you signal something, it means to indicate the existence or occurrence of something by actions or sounds. So it's just showing that something is starting.
I see. And we also read, in addition, some countries have implemented their own laws and regulations, such as the United States Mercury and Air Toxic Standards, and the European Union also has one, don't they?
That's right, and this is called the Regulation EU 2017-852. So these are all different ways that countries are trying to combat this mercury pollution because it is an international problem.
That's right. We've got two terms there, laws and regulations. Laws mean rules, do this, don't do this, and regulations help you understand the limits of something. So they're very closely linked. Regulations are usually laws, but oftentimes laws, it means just a little bit more broad. Well, friends, there's a lot more to learn about the Minamata Act. We'll get a little bit more into the history of this tomorrow, but for now, it's time for something special, isn't it?
It is. It's time for today's fun fact.
Hello, fact friends. I am Detective Ernest Finder, and I have a fun fact for you today. Did you know that mercury is often used in thermometers because it is liquid at room temperature? Pretty cool. So if you have a fever, maybe you have some mercury in a thermometer. A thermometer tests how hot or cold something or someone is. Pretty useful. And that is today's fun fact.
Okay, well, that was our fun fact, but this has been a pretty serious lesson, hasn't it? Mercury poisoning is so dangerous. But here's what I want us all to do. We've been practicing a lot of English. Can you sum up today's lesson in one sentence? Anne-Marie, would you like to give it a try?
I would like to give it a try. So I'm going to make a sentence that really doesn't give my opinions on it. It just says what the lesson taught. Okay. Mercury pollution is an international problem, and the Minamata Convention is seeking to solve this problem.
That's a really good sentence. Well, friends, it's time for you to work on your own sentences. Can you sum up this article in one English sentence? Remember, sometimes you'll read scientific articles that are kind of hard to understand, but it's always good to practice writing down, or even better, saying out loud some English that sums it up. Well, friends, for now, I'm John.
I'm Anne-Marie, and we'll see you next time right here on
Studio Classroom. Goodbye.
A good friend lasts a lifetime. I am so proud to have you in my life. A good friend lasts a lifetime.